Hey, what's up everybody? This week we're working on the Corvette. We got some major stuff we need to do this thing. Hey, before we get too deep into this video, let me know where you're watching from and I'll put your red pin up on the map. I do have a better map coming, just to let you guys know, so it's a little better to see and whatnot, and then I'll transfer over our current pins. But we'll get into that later. So for now, let's see what pins we're putting on this week. All right, first we got Charleston, West Virginia. So let me see if I can find that. This map is way too small, which is why I ordered a big one. Okay, there's one there. Next we got York Springs, Pennsylvania. I definitely had to look at the map for that one. Pennsylvania is so small on here. It's looks like a little west of Philadelphia, somewhere out there, so we'll stick you right there. This is horrible. We're definitely gonna make this better. And last we got Randleman, North Carolina. I had to definitely look at that one as well. Looks like we are just south of Greensboro, so we'll get you on there. All right, there we go. That's this week's pins. So that's all the pins for this week. So let me know where you're watching from and let's try and fill this thing up. I just want to remind everybody that we're a growing YouTube channel and we need all the support we can get. So please like, comment, and subscribe and help me grow this channel. Something is not right. That's not supposed to be there. Sorry for the wind noise. Story time. So if you notice, my gazebo was torn to shreds. Get out of the wind there. So last weekend, I was sitting there getting ready to go to work. A huge gust of wind came through. It sounded like the windows on the house were gonna get sucked out, you know? It was one of those crazy wind gusts. Thing is, it wasn't windy that day. So what had happened is, I believe, we had a big dust devil come through, basically a miniature tornado, and it just kind of tore some stuff up. So, as you can see, my gazebo got shredded, and that happened in about, 5 seconds of just wind. Let me show you what else happened. If you remember, if anybody ever noticed, this truck canopy was sitting way back here on the back of this trailer. So that dust devil picked that canopy up and completely tossed it over there. Pretty sure I'm just gonna have to get rid of it now. It's pretty well trashed. It's actually the first time I came out. It's been out here for like a week. I've noticed it last week, but it's like I didn't even want to look at it. So as you can see, it completely caved in the side. Didn't break any windows somehow. All the windows are still on. But as you can see, it caved in the side. First I thought, well, maybe I can just straighten it back out and use it as is. But then I started noticing that's cracked and broken there. Haven't really looked over too close. I'm kind of getting the first look at it here myself. You can see, oh, that's just the screen that's always been ripped out, but like the outside's going to be folded over. It's just, you can see, oh yeah, the rear frame got bent in, so that rear window probably won't ever want to close again. A couple things I noticed just now walking out here is it completely bent up on this edge. I don't know what it hit there. It almost got the window. You can see it scuffed that window, but it just tore this thing to shreds. So as you can see, I think it's done. I'm gonna have to just probably try to put it up and see if somebody wants it for scrap, since it is all aluminum. Just looking at some of these scuff marks on there, and I was like, it looks like it hit the house. So start looking. It definitely hit the house there. Hit the house down there. Messed up the stucco a little bit, not too bad. Let's look at the fence. I bet it hit the fence over here. I think I see a mark. Oh yeah, it definitely hit the fence, so you can see all the scuffs on that 4x4. Let's see, oh yeah, looks like it actually almost went over the fence. So that thing went airborne. We almost completely lost it. As I should point out, it's not extremely heavy. You've seen me take this thing off by myself. It's just kind of awkward. So it just acted like a big parachute when the wind got underneath it. Definitely not going to try and straighten that out. Kind of sucks. I was hoping to save this thing for just in case. Luckily I only paid $100 for it before I moved. But yeah, she's toast. She got all crumpled up. So the work we're going to be doing this week is we got to replace the harmonic balancer on this car. It's a known issue on these cars. We'll go over that here in a few minutes, but the parts that we got to replace it car. We're doing the Summit brand. Ooh, everybody's probably gonna want a part number. This is the 2501. Summit 2501. This is the new Harmonic Balancer. So you can see it's a pretty robust unit. It's pretty heavy. Here it's a little wider, but you just don't use all the ribs for your belt, which is fine. And then we also got the nice ARP bolt to finish that off with. So yeah, let's go over some things. Sorry if the LED lighting is making a crazy light effect on there. It's doing it on my screen. I don't know if it's going to do it on the video, but anyways, what we're going for, so the Harmonic Balancer is your big pulley down at the bottom of the crankshaft down there. So that's that big guy there, that kind of rusty looking one. So the reason that they go bad on these LS1 motors is there's a rubber band basically holding the inner and the outer, I don't know, rings together or whatever you want to call it. And the rubber kind of breaks apart and disbonds and stuff, so the Harmonic Balancer will actually separate on itself and cause it to walk into the rack and pinion, which is right in front of it, or it'll go backwards into the timing cover. So this one has a slight amount of wobble, and then when I looked at it the other day, I noticed it looks like the rubber's coming out a little bit more on one side than the other. So I've had the part for a while, so we better just replace it now. Close up of the new part, pretty fancy looking. Like I said, this is Summit Racing. It doesn't have the rubber, I don't know, dampener like the other one does. I think it still has rubber inside of it, as far as I know, but it's the way it's designed, it doesn't just come apart like the factory one. So it's a pretty nice unit. I'm impressed with the quality of it. And then obviously we got our new bolt for an LS1 there. All right, you comfy? Okay, so I didn't know where I was gonna go with this. This is our car. This is a 2004 Corvette, base model, LS1 motor. To accomplish this, we're gonna do it in the vehicle. So we're gonna have to jack the vehicle up. We gotta take the front wheels off. We gotta pretty much, from what I understand, completely unbolt the rack and pinion and slide it over as far as we can one way or the other. And then that should give us just enough room to get in there and get the pulley and get the unit off. We also picked up some new tools to accomplish this. So this is the first thing we'll be using. This is a puller. It's just it's a special 3-jaw puller. It's really tight, it's very new. I bought everything off Amazon. I went kind of cheap, but come on, zoom in. Focus in, but the quality doesn't seem too bad actually. So yeah, we got that. It comes with the different lengths of the center pins, whatever you want to call them. So we'll use that. I bought a flywheel holder, another cheap unit off of Amazon. I don't think I'm going to need it, but just in case I do, we should be able to torque that new bolt and just block the rear wheels with the brakes on. It should hold the vehicle. And then we did a super cheap install tool. So in here is just the threaded rod. So I can pull it out here kind of. See, just threaded. Well, I wish this camera would focus a little quicker. And then it comes with 2 big washers, pretty nice nut. And then this is actually just like a ball bearing thing. It's kind of janky. It's full of Chinese writing, so you know it came from China. Thank you, Amazon. Quick update for people that are here for the square body. You can see our axles are still painted, sitting there. Truck is still sitting here, haven't taken nothing apart. So I'm still kind of working on slow stuff, and I'm also procrastinating a lot on ordering. I got to make a really big purchase for this thing. I keep kind of procrastinating. I got to call the company to do it. I can't just do it online and whatnot. So hopefully tomorrow I can wake up early enough and give them a call, since they're in a different time zone and whatnot. And I gotta figure out how to get them to take my money, because our debit cards have a weekly limit or whatever, and it's gonna go way over that. So I'll keep you up to date on that. on, the wheels are off. Let's see what we're working with here. So this is the end of the rack and pinion. I gotta get in there. Not much room. So if we go underneath, see if we got enough lighting. There we go. Rack and pinion is, where'd it go? Oh, it's behind there's a cooler in the front, and it's that unit going across the back there. So I'm gonna have to obviously get the bolts out on each end. And then, looks like I'm gonna have to get that cooler out of the way too, but that looks pretty basic. It's got a couple bolts. Pull the alternator off just because it's easy to pull off. It's 2 bolts, 1 connector. Might not even pull the wiring off, might just pull it off to the side just so that we can get to the steering shaft down there. Just gives us a little more access, so why not? I've got nothing better to do today. Let's get this power steering cooler off. Ooh, that's gonna break. Alright, that's off. In case anybody wants to know, this is a 10mm socket. Oh no. There it is. Thanks, Kat. Anyways, now we can take off the steering shaft. Hey, we're back on day 2 on this. I kind of gave up last night and fell asleep on the couch. Oops. So we're back on this now. So right now I need to get the rack and pinion unbolted off of the subframe and then get the power steering lines disconnected. So that's what we're gonna get. I tell you what, I was about to have a hard time. If you guys are doing this by chance, make sure you have the right tools. So these lines are really hard to get to. So, if I can get it off, I'll show you what I used. I was using a regular wrench and just barely started rounding off the nut on that power steering line. So, I had to go see what I had for crow's feet. Luckily, I had an 18mm power steering or crow's foot for you know, lines and stuff. Let me show you what it is when I get it off. There we go. So I was using a regular wrench. I didn't even have the crow's foot wrench in the right size. So luckily I happened to look through my toolbox and I had this snap-on unit here from way back in the day. So that worked like a charm. And it also allowed me to position it in an area that the wrench wasn't getting to. The wrench just barely started rounding off the nut, so you stop. Don't go any further than that. Get the right tool. So luckily I had this piece and it worked great. And the lines are loose. Check that out. So at this point we can pull the, I'm gonna kind of let things drain out a little before I make a mess. And I think we can pull the loose bolts off of the rack, this whole guy, and hopefully we can slide the whole thing to the side and we'll have access to get to the harmonic balancer. The rack and pinion shoved to the side. That's as far as we're going because the rest of it will not fit through that little hole without dropping down the subframe. So for now, it's just gonna it's just gonna hang off the side. So you can see where we're at now without any light. You can see our crankshaft in there, right in the middle. I got this damn power steering cooler that's in the way, but I can't really move it out too much. But we have just enough room to get in there, get the puller on, get that thing pulled out. Hopefully all the tools fit. Well, I was going to try to use the new DeWalt electric, because you know electric's the way of the world now. But I need a little extra room, so we're going to go back to the air tool here, the old titanium and torque. Well, that didn't do it. It's just not enough power. There's not much that thing can't break loose. So what I've seen a lot of people having to do, because I don't think anybody's been able to break it loose with impact, is they got to put heat on the center bolt, because there's a factory Loctite on there, so you kind of melt that out in a way. Let's try that. Try not to burn my Corvette down to the ground. Come on, baby. Come on for daddy. Just like that. Don't go too far, get your gun stuck in there. So I saw another YouTuber that forgot the bolt was hot and he burned his hand, so I'm going to try not to burn my hand with my bolt. I like to learn from other people's mistakes. There we go. Just like that. So next we're going to pull off the dampener here. So this is the new puller. This pulls from just the center hub. It doesn't grab it on the outside like an old 3-jaw puller would. So these are kind of specific for these, and I guess Chrysler vehicles as well. And then we also have 4 different length pins. These pins actually go into the center of that threaded section, and it gives you your length. And these are solid pins, so hopefully they don't bend or break. Alright, now that we got the old one out, we can take a closer look at what we were seeing. So you can see, can't see nothing because it won't focus in. So you can see the rubber's like blowing out there and it's got cracks. And it's also, it's like real low here. And when you come around, it's real high there. So I think this thing didn't have much life left in it. So she was on her way out. This is why we replace these things. Almost forgot to mention that I got a new seal too to go with this whole setup. So we'll rip the old one out and slam the new one in before we get the new balancer in there. There's a lot of crickets in Nevada. I don't know where he's at, but he's in my cowl somewhere. Alright, we got the new damper lightly tapped on with a rubber mallet. New seals installed behind it. And then this is the install tool, which is just the threaded rod with nut and the bushing and bearing and all that stuff. So I'm going to start cranking this thing down. Down. So next I got to put the new bolt in and torque it. The torque gives some people trouble, so we'll see how that goes for us. It's basically, it's very tight. It's a very big bolt. Here we can see the new balancer from this side. Make sure our pulleys are kind of lining up. Looks like they are. Looks like everything's good. You got the AC belt way down at the bottom on the inner one. And the outer one is all the other accessories. So that torque on that new bolt's like 240 foot-pounds. So it's a big mamma jamma. So luckily I got a pretty big torque wrench. So hopefully it'll go on fairly smoothly. Well, I didn't think we'd drag this out for 3 days, but now we're on day 3. So, I've just been so lazy this weekend, you know. I just want to do a few things, you know, get to a milestone on this project, and then quit, you know. So I'm just doing a couple hours of work a night, basically, on it. But where we're at is we got to shove this rack and pinion back in. That's going to be the hardest part. So once that thing gets back in, bolted, the line's back on, then the rest of the things are easy. Just throw that alternator back on, the belts, you know, top off the power steering fluid and stuff like that. So let's get at it. Alright, I put the camera down and I just slammed everything back together. Got the rack back in, got the EBCM bracket all bolted back in, alternators back in, belts are back on. Everything should be done, so let's give it a fire up and make sure we did it right. Yes, success! I'm so happy this is finally done. I've actually had these parts for 5-6 months now, and they've just been sitting in a box, you know, kind of dreading doing it because it's kind of a big job. So I'm glad it's done. All we got left to do is I just got to put the wheels back on, get it back on the ground.